Jason spends his morning fishing on calm water until he spots a storm rolling in fast, so he packs up and heads home, rain falling as he pulls onto his street, his garage door refusing to open, forcing him to leave the car outside, his mind already burdened by unpaid bills waiting indoors. Once inside he greets the family's old dog while his wife and still sleeps upstairs, their kids Ruth and Graham getting ready for the day. The internet suddenly cutting out, meanwhile cracks keep spreading through the chimney, a repairman having already warned them the foundation is sinking. Still today they plan to pick out their Christmas tree. Ruth tries the front door first and it won't budge, Jason tries next with no luck, the back door is the same, then the garage, then every window in the house, all sealed like they've been glued shut, the Wi-Fi stays dead and no phone catches a signal, panic rising, Jason kicks the door hard with no result, grabs a metal rod and swings at a window, expecting it to shatter, but the glass holds firm, almost as if the rainwater itself has bonded it into the frame. Every other window gives the same result. That's when they notice neighbors trapped in their own homes too, except one woman named Susan just returning from her jog, her husband stuck inside like everyone else, so she runs off to find help. Meanwhile every attempt Jason makes fails. So the family settles into watching the neighborhood instead, Jason realizing he's never actually learned his neighbors' real names, having given them all nicknames of his own. One house even has a boat parked outside, and soon the whole street is buzzing with theories about government experiments or something otherworldly. At dinner Jason reassures everyone they're safe simply being home, but that night Ruth tells him she thinks the rain itself caused this, insisting it looked different. Admitting she's scared her own parents might be facing the same thing somewhere alone. In response Jason shows her a gun she never knew he owned, bought after a bad dream left him feeling unsafe, and now teaches her how to use it. The next morning he tries drilling through the door but the rainwater seals it back over, then tries breaking through a wall, and even there the rain forms a barrier, though air still flows freely into the house, making Jason realize this clearly wasn't man-made. The chimney cracks keep widening with a faint creaking sound, and the following day, as the rain lets up, they rush to the door hoping it'll open, but it stays locked regardless. For entertainment they're left with a few old songs, a battered DVD player, and only 2 movies. Food ration carefully should last roughly 2 months, and they still have water, power, and gas, so they agree to conserve everything, everyone committing to face this together, though their old dog is desperate to get outside. So Jason simply lets him out and promises to clean up after. By day 4 the kids grow tired of rereading the same books, so Jason teaches them to gut fish using soft toys as practice. He asks his neighbor Mr. Richardson to find out how far this has spread. A week passes with the lights starting to flicker, and saving tomato seeds hoping to grow her own. Jason learns every nearby house is sealed the same way, and Richardson the dentist reveals their food is already running low. 2 weeks in Ruth notices something odd moving through the rainwater outside her window, and instead of fear she starts playing along with it. The next day everyone keeps busy with small routines, sticking to daily exercise, burning old bills for entertainment, and when Christmas arrives the whole trapped neighborhood celebrates together. But a month later Ruth insists the strange figure in the rain has returned. Graham spots it too but brushes it off as an animal. The kids grow sick of the same bland food and refuse to eat. Ruth again claims someone outside was trying to communicate, but nobody believes her. Jason snaps, reminding everyone there's no one left to see, though they try to stay hopeful, noticing the night sky has grown unusually clear, stars sharper than ever, a wolf wandering right up to the house, as if this world now belongs to nature again. The day after Christmas everyone opens gifts that are really just repurposed items from around the house, and gives a piano book none of the kids want to learn. So instead they give her the first tomato she managed to grow, and she gets emotional eating it, right before Ruth watches their neighbor Mrs. Richardson collapse unconscious next door, a clear sign none of them can survive much longer without food, the sight sending the family into despair, especially once their dog's medication runs out completely. Then one rainy night, while Ruth plays with her toys, Susan appears outside the window covered in blood, pleading to get inside. Ruth rushes to tell her parents, Susan screaming everyone is dead and begging them not to be seen, warning no help is coming, before something drags her backward into the dark. These turn out to be the very creatures Ruth had secretly been talking to all along. Outside a blinding light erupts and everything vanishes. Only afterward does Jason really look at Ruth's drawings, and she explains the one from that day felt nicer than the rest. From then on they agree to cover every window whenever it rains. Then one afternoon, while Ruth hangs from a beam, the chimney cracks widen further until the cap breaks off entirely, opening a view straight up. Ruth suggests they could escape through it, though it looks too narrow. She offers to be lifted up herself, so they rig a makeshift pulley and send her climbing, but even she can't squeeze through, only getting one hand out before the rain starts again, forcing them to pull her back down. right then their dog begins whimpering in pain. Suffering with his medication gone, Jason quietly has and distract the kids with the television, then fighting tears, ends the old dog's suffering himself. Afterward they realize keeping his body isn't really an option. Someone suggests cremating him in the fireplace, but Jason proposes the freezer instead for worse times ahead, asking Anne to handle it without telling Ruth. They choose the freezer. Though while preparing to burn the leftover remains, Jason spots the wolf outside and pushes the scraps through the chimney for it. Only the wolf gets startled by thunder and runs off without taking anything. Jason notices that same strange shifting behavior in the rainwater again, and the next time it rains he covers every window and tells the kids to hide, but Ruth slips away to grab her plants near the glass, and the creature outside catches sight of her. Jason signals for her to freeze completely, and eventually it moves on. 3 months later the kids beg for more food than they're rationed. Ruth breaks down insisting she'd rather go hungry tomorrow than today, demanding they open the fridge, and when they do it's completely bare, their supply officially gone. Ruth collapsing from weakness, hope nearly shattered, though Jason refuses to give up, promising he'll find a solution, and right then Graham walks in holding his own pet fish already gutted, the family pulling together in a tearful hug. That's when Jason spots the wolf again and a plan forms. He builds a trap from spare garage parts, baiting it with leftover freezer meat, setting it just outside the chimney. A fox takes the bait first and escapes before the trap closes, so Jason adjusts it, and next time the fox gets caught but still can't fit back through the chimney, breaking free and running off. Frustrated but undeterred, Jason later feeds the fox anyway once it returns starving, and watching it eat sparks another idea. Building a smaller trap baited with a carrot on a hydraulic pulley, and when a squirrel takes the bait he successfully reels it in through the chimney, marking the start of their regular chimney fishing. Everyone finally enjoying a proper meal. Jason later tears up sections of the floor for Anne's growing farm, the whole family working the soil together, building a separate trap for birds, rigging lighting to help the plants, even turning their living room into a private drive-in theater until the lights eventually cut out for good. The story then jumps 5 years ahead, Anne's small farm thriving steadily, Graham having learned to play the piano, Ruth grown up and spending most of her time in the attic, where she's pinned up a photo of Mr. Richardson. Outside their window wildlife roams freely with no trace of other people left. They still cover every window whenever it rains. Jason trims his own hair between chores, having fully automated his chimney trap by now. Though the house keeps deteriorating, the ground beneath them sinking further while the soil erodes away, realizing whatever force traps them inside is the same thing holding their crumbling house together. Jason shows everyone the car he's repaired, though it barely has fuel left. Graham dismisses it as pointless since it's never actually leaving, his attitude growing more bitter after years confined indoors, though Jason brushes past it, seeing his only job as keeping everyone alive. Then one day, as rain starts falling again, a creature appears right outside the door, sending everyone scrambling to hide, and somehow it manages to open the door and step inside. Graham staring at the open doorway, watching the strange liquid dripping from the creature damage everything it touches. He asks about the gun and moves to grab it, while the creature destroys Anne's entire farm before finally leaving. Graham tries slipping out the open door but fails. Afterward Ruth points out the liquid tasted like salt water, and right as she says it the rain stops. Jason rushes to the door hoping it'll finally open, but it stays sealed. Ruth wonders aloud whether these creatures never came from space at all, but from the ocean, explaining how they might control the rain. Meanwhile Anne looks worn down watching her plants wither, their drinking water gone bad too. Not long after, a ferret gets caught in one of Jason's traps and wanders into the house, only for Ruth to set it free out of sympathy. Tension boils over between Anne and Jason, him insisting they'll figure out food and water again, her firing back and asking what happens if that creature returns, reminding him bluntly they're only alive because of a crack in the chimney, warning that if they don't escape soon they'll die right there. And right then the ferret bites Ruth, prompting Jason to kill it immediately, though the bite triggers a spreading infection, leaving her in desperate need of antibiotics. Watching his daughter suffer pushes Jason over the edge, storming out to the car. In a blind rage, ramming it repeatedly into the garage door, though it's the car taking the damage, and in the outburst he slams his head against the steering wheel, and in that dazed state notices cracks spreading across the floor, jamming the metal rod into one. He starts measuring every crack in the house while Anne urges him to calm down, tracing them all the way into the bathroom, where she finally grabs him and forces him to stop. Having noticed the sinking is worst right there, breaking through the floor reveals an old sewer pipe connecting the whole neighborhood. Realizing Richardson the dentist almost certainly kept antibiotics somewhere in his house, but Jason is too big to fit through the pipe, meaning Ruth is the only one small enough to try. They send her down with a small camera, watching her push forward until she finds a loose brick, shoving through the wall until it breaks open. Right as that happens, Jason loses the video feed entirely, panicking enough to try squeezing in himself, until Graham notices the feed return, revealing Ruth has reached the Richardson house, though it looks flooded for years already, and just then the rain starts again. She finds a bottle of water and locates the antibiotics on a bed, with Jason urging her to hurry back, but before she can leave, the creature appears there too, sending her running to escape it. The sewer tunnel rapidly filling with water, Ruth horrified upon finding Mr. Richardson's lifeless body along the way, the creature pursuing her through the flooding water, and just as she reaches the pipe home it appears directly behind her, forcing her to fire a shot at it. At the exact right second Jason pulls her the rest of the way through, sealing off the flooded opening behind them, rushing to hand Ruth the antibiotics, though she admits she lost the gun back there, meaning the creature now knows exactly where they are. Guaranteeing it'll come looking, Jason suggests hiding in the attic since it has no way of knowing how many people live there, but Graham pushes back hard, asking how much longer they can keep living like this, arguing that if creatures can get inside, they should be able to get outside too, insisting they fight back, and eventually incides with him, agreeing they truly have to find a way out, so Jason uncovers every window, setting a plan to lure the creature inside and trap it deliberately. Everyone taking position near the windows, but just then water starts pouring in through the taps, more flooding through the chimney, until water rushes in from every direction, submerging the house, though the family stays put by the windows, calling the creature inside as planned, and once it enters, Jason readies his crossbow but hesitates without a clean shot, so lights a Molotov and hurls it onto the creature, setting it ablaze for better visibility, though his first shot still misses. And the creature grabs him and throws him hard, prompting him to pull him back up out of the water, realizing they need to reach the attic fast, though Jason's harpoon is still stuck in the kitchen, sending Graham to retrieve it while water floods the garage too, though it drains out through an underground hole. Graham grabs the harpoon back, right as Jason cuts an opening above himself to create an escape route, forcing the creature back down, and everyone makes it safely up into the attic. Jason readying one more shot as water rapidly fills the attic space too, and the moment the creature climbs up after them, they yank a rope rig to start the car in the garage, giving Jason the opening he needs to land his shot, sending the creature dragged backward with the rushing water draining through that same hole, successfully trapping it at last. Jason grabs a knife and orders it to open the door, though Ruth stops him, begging him not to kill it. And that's when Jason remembers her insisting all along these creatures were good, recalling how from the start all he'd really done was fight against something he never understood. Noticing the creature signaling for him to lower the knife, Jason ultimately frees it, tossing the weapon aside, and in response it opens the door for them itself. The moment they step outside, several more creatures surround the family, though the one they freed sends the others away. And right then their house finally sinks fully into the ground as the rain stops completely. Ruth, finally free, takes off running as fast as she can, the family later standing together atop a U-Haul truck watching the creatures retreat into the distance, eventually taking their neighbor's abandoned boat to leave the area, having shown these creatures genuine mercy and receiving that same mercy back, proving they were truly part of this earth all along. So Jason's family holds on to hope that more survivors are waiting to be found somewhere out there, and right as that thought settles in, a voice comes through over the radio saying hello, bringing this whole story to its close. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video like this.